When you plant Wyffels Hybrids, you're making a statement that independence and family-owned means something on your farm. So make your choice. Plant your independence. Plant Wyffels.
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of InCYde Zone with Colin Newell, Jake Remsburg, and Jirehl Brock. And I'm Jacqueline Cordova. And Iowa State's officially a top 10 team, number 9 as of today in the AP poll, after they took down West Virginia 28-16. Big day.
That's
Huge
We
day.
see this every week
That's
now. Big day.
going into your opponent and their blackout and winning. Good thing to do.
Hey,
Yeah. Cole out.
Cole
It was coal color, not black, I guess.
Oh.
Pat McAfee had a big thing about that on his show. It wasn't black, it was coal.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, there's only one team in the Big 12 that could wear black like that. It's Iowa State. So
And it's Iowa State for
I
sure.
mean, come on.
Like, look at that jersey look at that black jersey behind you.
I know, right? Right here or there. But I mean, like, what are they thinking? Like, you're just gonna throw a blackout on Iowa State? No way.
No.
I think the best part about it is Coach Campbell showed up in his black shirt. And he
Love
was
it.
black hat. It was extra
Love it.
curved, a little bit extra curved. And he said,
Extra-
these guys think that they're going to wear black against me. Like, what are they doing?
It almost would have been cool if we wore our white and black jerseys 2 weeks in a row.
Right.
And just get,
Right.
it's like, okay, you guys want it to be a black. Okay, we're gonna show up in black too. Then
We
what's
can
up?
do it too.
Did you guys see they did some kind of highlight video about the game, like the Coal Rush theme they were going with, and it had highlights of Iowa State in it?
I did
don't know
not.
if you saw it.
I didn't see that.
I'll have to send it to you guys, or it's a little long, so I won't ask Aiden to play it unless he fast forwards through it. But I've never seen a hype video have highlights of a game that they lost. Like, it showed when Iowa State stormed the field,
What?
the 2018 game.
It was probably a motivational video.
Probably.
Yes,
That's
it
probably a
was. Yeah.
motivational
It was like
video, something like that.
it was
know.
like a whole motivational, like, oh, we're bringing in the black uniforms. This is our theme, blah blah blah. But it's just like,
Well, and I think for them it was like going back to that year against West Virginia when they came to our place and we wore the black jerseys when they were ranked like
Right.
4th or something like that.
yeah,
And we beat them. I think that's probably them trying to say this is going to be our time doing that to you guys. Well, how'd that work out for you?
Yeah. No, yeah. I didn't even realize that Neil Brown had that's their coach's name, right? I'm pretty sure had some clip in the beginning of the week and was essentially just like, oh, they're 5-0. Who really cares? I didn't even know that until after the game yesterday. I saw it floating around a little bit. So I was like, they were kind of asking for that.
I feel
Yeah,
like it's a hard thing to balance. Yeah. I feel like it's a hard thing to balance because, like, to your team, like, your message to your team has to be that way. And, like, even then, like, if you go out and put that to the media, like your team is like, oh, yeah, these guys are 5-0, but, like, who really cares? But then, like, that's bulletin board material for the opposition. Like, for Iowa State, like, Coach K would be like, this guy doesn't even respect us. You guys have worked your ass off, and all he thinks you guys are a bunch of frauds.
But
Yeah,
you
exactly.
can flip anything into like making it like bulletin board material. You can flip anything that anybody says really that way, especially nowadays. You can flip somebody's words to say anything for motivation, and that's kind of what Coach Campbell does sometimes.
He does do that. He's really good. He finds all those clips. It's probably Skip and Hooge always find something
yeah.
that he can
Oh, yeah.
use.
Oh,
100%.
did those types of things get you guys going? Like, did they work?
I would say so. I mean,
And-
I buy into him a little bit. Like, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it's just a little bit more added. Like, you already have motivation. I feel like if you're a player and you need that type of like motivation to get you going about a game like this, like, then you probably shouldn't be on the field anyways. But I think that's just like added motivation on on top of everything.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
you said that perfully.
it makes it fun too. I mean,
I was
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
say, I'm
Something
pro that.
yeah, you have something to compete about all week. Like, oh, I know what they said about us. Like, it's our time now. So
Mm-hmm.
Well, like we said, Iowa State took care of business. It was a really good game. I feel like there was only like a split second where when West Virginia got that first touchdown, I was like, ugh, no, like don't give us like a rough first half. Like I don't want to go through this. And then it was like, just kidding. You thought like things are good.
Oh, that's exactly how I felt.
100%.
Exactly
So-
how I
Go
If
ahead,
you're gonna
Colin.
score on Iowa State, you better do it early because like what Haycock's doing. I mean, he's been doing it for years, but he gets better and better. Like the way he's got that defense rolling right now, like
Yeah.
is
yeah.
unbelievable. You better be like it's your first 2 drives, and your defense better be able to like shut out after that because, I mean, he's got him dialed in.
Absolutely.
To this game, like one thing that I was kind of worried about is because like last West Virginia rushed for like 389 yards against Oklahoma State, and I was kind of worried about our run defense just because I mean, obviously we've had a little bit of trouble with that in the past, but we held them to 120 like something yards in the rushing, and I think that was a big reason why we won. You know, that first drive, it kind of looked like it was going to be a long day, just for the defensive line. But I mean, after that drive, they came back and just destroyed.
No, yeah, it's a good point because I know we talked about last week how they were able to run the ball all over Oklahoma State, all over them. And that just does not happen. You have to have a really good run game to do that to, you know, the Gundy and his boys over there. And so for us to kind of lock in on that after that first drive, that was a game changer for us.
So when you guys kind of got to the end of the game, talking big picture, how did you feel overall about how Iowa State did? Like thinking back to some of the things we talked about last week when it came to like what did Iowa State need to work on to continue to improve and win more convincingly? Like how did you feel about the team?
I mean, at the end of the day, I thought we played really well. Let me just give you a brief synopsis of my last like 48 hours.
Okay.
They've been awesome. They've been amazing. So yeah, I watched the game yesterday at the lake house. We have Lake Panorama, and most of the day I was pretty nervous throughout the day. So I made a comment, and I was like, okay. People were saying the water is a little chilly. I was like, okay, if Iowa State wins this game, I'm getting in the water. Like I'm jumping in, 100%. Because I was nervous. I mean, you can't get a better tailgate than at the lake. Doing a couple of boat rides before the game. Like that was just perfect. And I was like, okay, I'm nervous. If we win, I'm going in. And the whole day, nervous. The game plays out. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to jump in the lake. And this is like 10 o'clock at night. And I was like, I really don't want to do this. I was kind of thinking that this would be a last drive type of game, and we'd win on a last touchdown with 10 seconds left. No, we won pretty convincingly. So my adrenaline is not really there to get in the lake. And I kind of tried to.
It wasn't one of those build up.
No, and it wasn't. There was no build up to it. And my dad also said the same thing. So we were both like, okay, I guess we have to do it. I mean, they won. So I mean, you can roll the clip. Like
Your Iowa State Cyclones, 6-0. Party like it's 1938. Let's go.
it was very, very cold.
Oh my gosh, Brad getting in there with the big
I know.
cannonball.
But at the end of the day, I mean, I said it. Party like it's 1938. Like, what a time to be a Cyclone. That was a big.
You say you're gonna do it, you got to do it.
I got to do it.
Especially
It was
for saying no.
You got to do it.
6-0. I mean, you can't ask for a better picture right now for Iowa State. And I knew that was a big game yesterday, and we executed. And at the end of the day, we walked out with a W in the column. So good
Were
day.
you guys also
I mean-
anxious?
I mean, after I heard that they got a new hotel, I was like, oh yeah, it's a
Game changer. Game changer.
Good night of
over.
sleep, actually.
yeah. After I heard there was a new hotel in play for them, yeah, I knew it was a dub.
Well, Tyler, I still keep close with Tyler Miller, so I still have his location from back in the day. I was like, kind of like, let me just take a little quick look here.
Tucker.
Where he's at, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's a new hotel. This is a game changer.
That is big time, especially for a late kickoff like that, where you're spending all
bro.
day in that place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like those days where you're in like away games I like away games, especially when they're at home, like just for the fan feel of it. But like as a player, you want to get those games done. I was a big fan of the 11 o'clock games. Like you got up, it felt like just a routine. Everything just flowed naturally. You got up, ate, meeting, everything like that. Got to the field, got ready, just played a game. There was no waiting. But when you're waiting until 7 o'clock to play your game in a foreign hotel, for a lot of those players, somewhere that they've never been before, it can kind of just mess with you. And I think they handled it well. I mean, you could see how teams go on the road sometimes and have very sluggish starts, especially like in night games like that. That's why night games for home teams are so like, they get
Way better.
Yeah, it's way better for if you're the home team. And I mean, going into a environment like that where they have their own theme and everything going on. I mean, just like when Baylor came in when we had whiteout, it's just one of those big games where everything, everything kind of matters a little bit more to the players. It's hard. And I think they went in and handled business, took a couple punches that West V gave them and, threw their own punches as well. So it was a big one.
I will say, I think it might be harder though, as a fan for a night game. Not even kidding. Like I was sitting there yesterday waiting around all day. When you're a player, you're just sleeping all day.
Yep.
Game time will come before you know it. I mean, you start pregame, like 3:30 ish. So like that comes a little closer. But as a fan, that's all day. That's an all day thing of nerves and being anxious about the game, tailgating, which it's fun. But yeah, it's for sure difficult as a fan as well.
I thought Iowa State played phenomenal all around. I thought that I'm going to tip my cap off to their quarterback as an athlete. Garrett Green, I think his name, played really well. I thought he made some big plays, kept them in there a little bit. But a couple of my buddies and I were sitting around watching the game last night, and we're like, we just need to make this guy throw. We need to get one stop, get a lead, and then like make this guy throw because A, we have really, really, really good defensive backs, and B, he hasn't proved he can throw really yet this season, and I think we saw that again last night. So he rushed for almost 90 yards. The two running backs rushed for under 70 yards. So that defensive line and that defense with depleted linebackers, a whole bunch of guys who are played Class A football. At one point, we had 3 Class A football players from the state of Iowa, which I thought was awesome. Cooper Ebel, from Hartley, Melvin Sanborn, Ryland Barnes from West Hancock, and Bo Goodwin from Kingsley Pearson. So I am from Iowa, and I haven't heard of any of those schools. So shout out to those guys because that's awesome. Like that was so cool to see like 3 guys from Class A football going out there and just balling out last night. So linebackers I thought played great. Offensive line I thought played really well. We're able to consistently run the ball. It's kind of like the flavor of the week. Who's going to be the running back that goes off? Who's going to be the guy that goes out and makes a play? We're so balanced where it's not like we have one guy who can go make a play, and if he gets hurt or if he gets banged up or something happens, the ship can't keep going. So we're super balanced, and Iowa State's playing really good football.
I'm curious what it's like for you guys just having been that you were on the team, because I know as someone in my position who's just been watching, I definitely have that like things are going well. Everyone seems to be progressing. Like, can I comfortably say, okay, Iowa State's good. They're going to keep getting better. They're going to keep winning games, or is something going to happen? Just from like past experiences, I am just like holding my breath. I think after yesterday, I feel a little better just because like you guys are saying, it was just such a good game on how Iowa State performed. But do you guys feel that way at all? Like, how do you guys look at that part of being a fan now?
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. You kind of have that because you're just not in the building. You're not putting in the work, and you can't see like the development you're making in practices and new game plans, stuff like that. So yeah, for sure, have that feeling more as a fan. But I thought, the West Virginia game was going to be the one that we might have a little slip up. And I was kind of proved myself wrong a little bit, or they proved me wrong, which was good to see because those guys really rallied around each other. They played really well together, and you can see that in how they play. They are. You can tell they're a tight knit group. You can tell that they believe in each other, and you can tell that from the TV screen. I can't even imagine what it feels like in that locker room, after the game, today, throughout the week. I mean, you can tell they have a good group and they're really buying into each other. And when that can happen, you win games that some people may think you're going to lose. So
I think the leadership, it has to be top notch, obviously, based off of what we're seeing. We're seeing guys go down and playing really, really well. So there's a culture of guys helping guys out. Like, hey, I may not be in the game and I may be coming back next week or 2 weeks down the road, but like, we can't have this fall off. So like that takes a lot from guys to be able to do that. Yesterday with Dylan Barrett, what's his name? The left guard.
Dylan Barrett. Yeah,
Dylan Barrett. He went down and Bohr came in and played really well at left guard there. Obviously, a couple plays for him to settle in, but he played really well. And I think that's we've played so many guys this year, which is so advantageous for us because when we have these situations at linebacker, at offensive line, where we see somebody go down, and you have someone that has game experience, you're not throwing them out to the wolves. It makes such a big difference, and I think we're kind of reaping the benefits of that right now where we're able to plug and play and keep on going and get better.
I want to bring up a point real quick on Trevor Burr. One, great guy, really worked hard last year as a freshman, and I always say that the most development an offensive lineman does in college is from his freshman year to his redshirt freshman year, and you can tell with that guy, he had a great offseason, but he gets in the game after Dylan goes down. And a normal offensive coordinator might call a play to the opposite of his side, maybe a pass play, maybe a nice little get in the game, maybe like a play action or, a naked play. No, Coach Mouse called a run play right behind him. It was the InCYde Zone right behind him. We scored his very first play he got in there. And that just shows the amount of confidence this coaching staff has in whoever goes out there. You could say that for defense. Coach Haycock, I did look up who Bo Goodwin was yesterday, and I played there last year. I had no clue who he was. And those coaches just have the amount of confidence to just go in there and keep playing. Yeah, I trust Bo. I'm sure what the defense was saying, Coach Cratch. And so that's really cool to see when guys can step up like that and not have to really adjust your game plan at all. I don't really care who goes in. I'm going to call the same game that I would have called with whoever's on our team. So that's a really cool thing to see.
Jirehl, did you have any thoughts overall?
I mean, yeah, I think those guys hit it on the head. Yeah. No, I really not to that. Not to that. Not to that. I thought I said what I thought I said.
Well,
to be honest, guys, let's at the end of the day, I normally rewatch the game before we do this podcast because I like to get some nuggets in there. Didn't rewatch this one. Didn't care.
I rewatched the key plays.
All I cared about is that we had a W.
Key plays.
We had a W on the scoreboard. At the end of the day, that's what matters.
Close rule.
But yeah.
So getting into the actual game, Jirehl, I'll put you on the spot. Carson Hansen game, he had 3 touchdowns. I'll bring up something he said when you're talking about how close these guys probably are. He was one of the players that was interviewed post-game, and he kind of just emphasized that they're a family, that they're very much like supportive of who's going to go up next or who's kind of going to have the spotlight this week or who kind of is performing better than the others. So they are saying that themselves. So obviously I can't imagine, especially the linebackers, how close those guys are and how close the running backs are. And, but Jirehl, I would totally love to know just your thoughts with the running backs. Obviously, we're talking about them every week. They're doing really great things. Carson Hansen had his career high 3 touchdowns in one game, which is just crazy. And he's been so fun to see. Would love to know just your takeaways from watching these guys play and really what's standing out to you.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta love a running back room full of guys that can go out there and get it done. I love the fact that you can really call that position for this team running back by committee. There's multiple guys going out there and getting it done. It might not be the same guy every game. One guy might have the hot hand and he might get the ball more. That's just kind of how it goes. And you kind of want it to be like that, especially when you get later on in a season and, guys haven't had that much wear and tear on their bodies and they're fresh, when it gets into those later games, as we continue to win games, there's potential more games to be played later on. So, just having players that can go out there and, not skip a beat. Carson's did a great job running the ball. I thought, Jalen had some opportunities that just didn't kind of go his way. But when Carson was in the game, he, the line, every decision that he made was precise. He got downhill, and when you do that, it helps a lot. For Abu, I would, he's kind of struggled the past couple of games getting going, and I think a big part of that is just not getting downhill. I remember, a lot of the time that I was at Iowa State, Coach Campbell would get on me a lot, especially in practice, because I'd try to bounce everything out. And in high school, that works because, they're not flowing as hard. You don't have defenses that are taught to get to the ball, pursue the ball, no matter what, keep going for the ball. So like people get lost and they don't see you they don't see you bounce out like that. But in college, everybody is pursuing the ball as fast as they can. And there's a lot of fast people. And, when you're a guy like Abu, who's so athletic, you can beat a lot of people outside, but the run's inside. You got to take it there. Coach Campbell used to say, get on me when I try and bounce it outside. Then the next play I would change it getting downhill. And he'd be like, you're the best damn running back in the nation if you just get downhill. And I mean, that's kind of what I see in Abu. If he just gets downhill, I feel like a lot more will open up for him. Jalen has that mindset and has that vision as a older guy who's been in a different offenses, seen a lot of things, and he's quicker. People can't see him. That's kind of just his niche, and he's kind of, I feel like he's rubbing off on Carson Hansen because he's starting to get downhill a lot. And when you do that, you start falling forward on runs. And when you finish runs, you can fall forward, and that's where you get those extra yards and start ending up in the end zone, kind of like how Carson has. So, I think it's just something that he'll grow as a player as the season goes on. I know the coaches will make sure that they, make that a point to get to him so that he can be the best version of himself. Because once he gets that down, I don't think there's a lot of running back rooms better than the one at Iowa State. So
let me ask you something real quick, Jirehl. With the running backs, is there kind of a thing that some running backs can go through? Sometimes like you feel it and you can feel the holes better, and then like sometimes you don't. Like for instance, I think about my golf game. You call it the like yips sometimes. Like some days you might have a couple rounds in a row. You're like, okay, I'm really good. Like this is great. I feel great in my swing. Then all of a sudden you can lose it a little bit.
Yeah.
So is that something that plays into running back a little bit? Because I feel like as a running back, sometimes you have to. You're probably sitting there like, okay, I'm reading these holes. I can feel this really well. And then sometimes you're probably like, I can't find anything. Even if it's there, you're mentally like, okay, I can't find anything. Is that something that running backs go through?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like a kind of loss in faith. Like sometimes if you go through a few plays where, say, you do cut it back, right, and the guard misses it, or they miss the double team or something like that, and you start to not trust it as much, and
Right.
you can start to second guess yourself. And as you know, as a running back, you don't want to think. You kind of just want to
Exactly.
feel and play, and you don't want to because once you start thinking as a running back, you start chopping your feet, and then you just go outside because you see green grass, but that's you're running to another defender on the sideline, so it doesn't help.
Right.
It doesn't help anybody. And it definitely doesn't help the offensive linemen too, because that's when you start to get holding penalties where the play's supposed to go behind them, but
Right.
you're going outside, they don't see you, then you have two hands on a defensive lineman holding their jersey and they're trying to pull away, and that's just the type of stuff, like, as an offensive lineman, I know you guys hate.
Right. No, yeah.
I think it's really hard too, because your opportunity to like have a mistake or anything like that is so small. So as running back, like, you have to be able to react instantly, hit
Right.
that hole that may only be there for half second. It may not even look like it's there, but by the time you actually are running through it, it's there. So having the confidence to say, like, hey, you believe that this offensive line is going to go out there and make this hole, which kind of leads us in. I'm sure what you're going to ask us, Jacqueline, here is about the offensive line. I think that they're playing well. I think that they're continuing to grow. I mean, they keep on getting better.
Mm-hmm.
And they are able to move people. They're able to create holes. And I think that Jared Hufford's playing really well at center.
Mhm.
I think what he's able to do and command that offense and make sure that stuff looks good, make sure that people know where they're going, which is half of the job, truthfully. So being able to make sure you're communicating really well and be really physical at that position has allowed us to be able to hit some of those A-gap runs, those runs that are downhill, and allow us to make some big plays. So I think it's impressive what they're doing. Like I said, Hufford obviously being from Ohio, that's not far from West Virginia, and I'm sure he had a big crowd there. So that was obviously a special game for him. But I think this offensive line is doing really well. Obviously gave up the 2 sacks. Still got to be pretty high in the country as far as keeping the quarterback clean. So that was exciting to see. But yeah, I think this offensive line, if we continue to allow these guys to get downhill at running back and just wear teams out, like, it may not be quarter 1 where they're out there looking like maulers, but you go in there and say quarter 2, 3, 4, and we've been able to run the ball 20, 30 times in a game, you're able to physically wear people out. And I think that's what Iowa State has been able to do, just kind of as a team this year, is just wear people down and say, hey, we're going to be bigger and better than you.
Yeah, a couple of points on the line from my end. One, I think their second level blocking is outstanding. Sometimes it only takes just a hand on the second level. It doesn't have to be something really crazy, like a pancake or anything like that. But it's getting up to the next level and getting just a hand on one of those linebackers can be a huge difference. And sometimes it's all you need for a running back like Carson Hansen to just, when he's running that hard, all you got to do is make that linebacker second guess himself just slightly, and that running back's gone. Like, if you can get up there and get those linebackers thinking, it's huge. So I think they're doing really well doing that. The second thing is double teams. I think their double teams are really good up front, and that's a good scheme. It's good players when you can have double teams that are successful, and it makes for a good running place. So I think their double teams are really well. I know one of the sacks yesterday was a linebacker end twist. That's the next level type thing. They'll clean that up. I think Jalen and Dylan and Jalen and Trevor is still new relationships playing next to each other. And it does matter when you're playing with someone or next to someone. You develop a relationship and you can kind of feel each other's presence. Like when I played with Daryl, for instance. The first couple of games that we played together weren't very good. I didn't know what he was doing on instances like twist and stuff. But the longer you play together, you can pick up those type of things a lot easier. So, but overall, I mean, they're just killing it. I love watching it. When a running back can get to the a 4 yards without even being touched, it's a job well done. And I think they're doing a really, really good job right now. It's kind of interesting. I don't know a ton of the Big 12 defensive linemen anymore. I feel like I would have known a little more, but I guess we haven't really played. I know West Virginia didn't really recognize anyone from their defensive line. So I don't know what the defensive lines are like in the Big 12. I don't know who's got a good one, doesn't have a good one, whatnot. But I'll probably have to look into that and see kind of what's our biggest challenge up. I know K-State will probably have a good one. Utah will probably have a good one. So I'm really excited to see them compete against some really good talent because they're damn good, and it's fun to watch, and we'll be interested to see how they can continue to progress.
In the post-game interviews, Hansen was asked like how he's seen the O-line improve, and I think it's funny when younger guys get interviewed because they're still kind of getting their foot in the door and they're getting used to how to answer questions, and he said something like, "Oh, it's really fun to see 350-pound guys running downhill or something." I was just laughing. I was like, such a young guy thing to say. I thought that was so funny.
I don't miss that 350-pound lifestyle. I'll tell you what.
Nope.
I was just talking about that yesterday. I was like, Colin has talked about how much weight he lost after he was done playing, and how much better his body feels now that he's not just big and always bulking for to be on the line.
So, for instance, I went to Ernest at Woolies on Thursday.
Yeah.
And I was able to get a 2XL sweatshirt, and it fits like a champ. That would not have happened.
What'd you wear before?
3XLs all day. This is a 2XL, and it's it fits. It fits great. I put it on this morning. I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
I feel that big time, Remy, because I still my wife made me clean up my closet today. And I was going through stuff, and I'm I can't even fit in a 3X. I literally look like I'm a little kid wearing their dad shirt, the 3XL shirt.
Hey, you can actually go shop at TJ Maxx and stuff now. Maybe you might get lucky and find a couple 2XLs at TJ Maxx. And when you're wearing 3XLs, there's no way you're going to TJ Maxx and finding anything.
No shot.
Jirehl, did you have this problem?
My problem's the opposite. I put on weight. I put on weight since I'm 245 now, but I work out, so it still looks decently good, I guess.
Dude, you're gonna be a dad soon. You have to fit the mold.
Yeah, no, I put on that
dad
weight for sure. I put on dad weight for sure. When they're pregnant and eating everything, you kind of just eat everything with.
Absolutely.
Supporting.
It's supporting for sure.
Yeah.
So let's talk about Rocco Becht.
Let's talk about the guy.
Stud.
Yes, he had 16 of 28 passes for 265 yards. And of course, that 60-yard touchdown to Jalen Noel passed Charlie Kolar and Hakeem Butler on career receiving yards list with 2,189. And he tied Breece Hall and Hakeem Butler for most 50-plus yard touchdowns in school history since 1971 with 7.
Wow.
Well, first of all, I don't know if you guys watched Game Day, but I thought it was so cool seeing Nick Saban talk about Rocco the way that he did.
Right?
I thought that was, obviously everybody that knows football knows that anything that comes from Nick Saban, it's high praise. And I think just him speaking on him the way that he did was great. And then Jalen is a big play waiting to happen. On that one long touchdown that he had, out of all the people on the field to leave wide open, you choose that guy.
Yeah,
that's a blown coverage for sure. But the guys, ever since he got to Iowa State, he's put in the work. Both Jalen and Rocco, ever since they got to Iowa State, they've put in the work, and their connection together all year has been phenomenal, creating big plays left and right. As an offense, you talk about those big plays and how important they are in games. And when you can get chunk yardage, it makes all the drives a lot easier because you don't have to run as many plays. There's some statistics on it or something like that running a certain amount of plays each drive makes it more liable for you to punt the ball or whatever like that. Obviously, when you can get chunk plays the way that they do and just score on 1, 2, 3 play drives, I know the defense kind of hates it because they don't get much of a breather, but as an offense, you really can thrive and Coach Mouse's play calling can really open up.
Yeah,
I thought.
go ahead, Neil.
I thought Rocco was extremely efficient. I thought that he maybe played one of his best games as the Cyclone. Some of the balls that he threw that game were really impressive. That one to Eli Green on third down the sideline.
Oh man.
Yep.
I thought was like I was that dude made a play. It was great to see Eli Green get involved in the game plan again on back-to-back plays there. But I thought Rocco played really well. Like they've mentioned, he's got some great guys to throw to, which makes life a little bit easier for him.
Right.
But chunk yardage is absolutely Iowa State's motto this year. Being able to consistently grind people out and then be able to go over top is something that's been very successful for them. And truthfully, as like a fan of the game, it's super fun to watch. You grind down, and then all of a sudden you get Jalen Knoll streaking down the middle for, a 60, 70-yard touchdown. It makes it fun. It's easy to celebrate. And if it's easy to celebrate for fans, it's obviously easy to celebrate for those guys on the sideline, in the film room, things like that. So being able to see them just chip away at that has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, with both those guys, I mean, I consider myself very lucky being someone that has been behind the number 1-3 running down the field, because there's no better feeling than watching Jalen Knoll run down the field in those big plays. Like it's the best feeling. He's incredible. He deserves it. Like Jirehl was saying, those guys have both worked really hard since the day they got there. So that's a really cool stat. I mean, he's explosive. It's fun. And yeah, you don't want to leave that guy open. And with Rocco, I mean, I can't even imagine Rocco's feelings going into that game.
Right.
Like, oh my gosh. Like, I don't know if you can find this video. It's on Cyclone Twitter and Rocco's Twitter. I think of Rocco running out of the tunnel yesterday. I mean, it gave me goosebumps. Like, you're playing at your dad's old school, who's getting inducted into the Hall of Fame.
Who didn't
They didn't recruit you.
Who didn't recruit
him
you
until late. Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, I would have been like so fired up, and to go out then and just have a great game, like that's fantastic. And Newell was right. Some of those balls yesterday, man, I was so impressed.
He was slinging it. He was zipping it, bro.
That first play of the game.
Yeah, that was a
to
ball.
Jaden Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
This is the video right here. This video is so. That is so cool. It's like the Joe Burrow
walkout,
LSU
senior night.
That video is sweet. Just the emotion behind that, I'm sure he has in his head.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that video is awesome.
That's sweet.
Well,
but yeah, I mean, a great game from both those guys, and that first play of the game, the ball to Jaden Higgins, like what a tone setter for the day. Like you can kind of tell he was on one that yesterday, so it was fun to watch.
Rocco also has thrown a touchdown pass in 10 straight games, including touchdowns in 8 of the 10. He's now 9th in school history with 343 career completions, and he's now tied with Alex Espinoza for 6th in school history with 33 touchdown passes. So
wow,
he's doing a great job of taking care of the ball this year too.
Yeah, very efficient day as well. 9 of 14 on third down and 2 of 2 on fourth down as an offense. You really just try and be 50% on fourth down if you go for it. That's like the number that you kind of shoot for. But to be 2 for 2, and as a quarterback, just handling all that going into a big game like that, I think he's been really poised and consistent. So, lucky to have him as our quarterback.
Well, I think it's crazy that Iowa State was able to go from Brock Purdy and now Rocco back. Like, just the chances of being able to have that. And then to have, like, the same type of personality in that, very humble, very personable, just really, really great guys who are always really great in terms of just, like, being leaders and talking in interviews, at least, because that's where I spend the most time with them. Rocco's been, like, one of the easiest interviews I've seen from someone of his age. Like I said, it's very obvious when you guys are like fresh and new in your positions. And Rocco, I think, has been just so mature in the way he's able to just articulate like what's going on. And So I love Rocco, huge fan. It was really fun watching him yesterday. Like you said, some of those passes, I just like stopped, held my breath a little bit.
Right. I was trying to look up there real quick. Our turnover margin on the year, I couldn't find it quick enough, but
It's off the charts.
it's
It's
I
off
mean,
the charts.
Campbell has got to be so happy. I mean,
I saw.
I think, dude, I feel like it's like plus 13 or like plus like it feels like it's like high.
it's
Like,
gotta be.
it's
I
like
think
plus
that we've
9 or
given-
something like that.
I think we've given up like 8 touchdowns this year and had 10 interceptions or something like that. I saw someone like tweet something like that. Like that's
Wow.
crazy.
I saw a tweet where it was like second half points against. It was like 7, 6, 0, 3.
Oh, the Chris
Like, we
and tweet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Aiden, I think if you can, I was going to say, I think you should have that. Okay, there we go. What is this? What am I looking at?
Yeah, 13,
Okay.
right?
Scroll over a
This
little bit.
turnover margin.
Oh, okay.
Is there a margin? Oh,
Oh, 9.
9.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Wow. That's winning. That's just. I mean, maybe it's just because it's accurate. That's how you win football games. Like I was about to just say, maybe it's just our coach Campbell still talking to us.
I was
Always-
say, are you just going to say winning
yeah.
the margins?
Yeah, winning. But I mean, that's how you win football games in college
Yeah.
football is you win the turnover battle, and they've done a great job of getting turnovers. Those turnovers yesterday were huge plays in the game.
Mhm.
Game changers. They take away the crowd. It takes away the West Virginia's confidence a little bit. Those are game changing plays, and you have to shout out Bo on that second interception. He got the tip on that one. Coming in, never really played, and you make a big play like that. That's good stuff from him. So shout out Mr. Bo Goodwin. I'm talking, not Bo Freeler.
I was about to say you got to specify, brother.
I know we got to specify now. Got to specify.
Something Campbell said before I give a shout out to our sponsors before we transition to the defense. Something Coach Campbell had said was that their mantra going into this game was the louder they get, the harder we play. Which they
Yes.
They sure
Print it on a
silenced
T-shirt.
them.
Print it on a
Absolutely.
T-shirt. I'll buy it.
Mike, if you're listening, Jake has an idea.
Please. I need that on a T-shirt. That's awesome. That's an awesome saying.
I know. But like I said, podcast today is presented by our friends Wyffels Hybrids. They're Cyclone supporting Cyclones. They're helping corn growers achieve more productive, profitable crops. And like I said, they support Iowa State. So what better way to grow better crops and work with someone who loves the Cyclones?
Let's go Wyffels.
They are committed to providing the best seeds and support. They consider themselves, family, helping family. So check them out at Wyffels.com. It's just WYFFELS.com. And of course, shout out to Ivy College of Business, largest undergraduate business college in Iowa. So when making a decision for your future and you're looking to go into business, Iowa State's the place to be. So, but like I said, defense, they also had a phenomenal game. John Haycock is a mastermind. I love that man. Everything he does is just crazy. Jeff Woody did a video on his Twitter. I don't know if you guys saw that. He was kind of explaining one of the plays and kind of going into why Haycock is just Haycock and why he should be praised. And something he said in the tweet was Iowa State has outscored their opponent 103-26 in second halves this year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, no, it's easy to win games when you do that. So
Right.
So I would love to know, specifically when it comes to the defense and they're able to make those adjustments, yes, this tweet, ISU second half scoring defense. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but
yeah, touchdowns in garbage time. Like that that touchdown to the flat yesterday.
You're not going to score in the fourth quarter.
That's crazy.
yeah, he definitely does some crazy things and obviously it's working. But I mean, question to you guys, when it comes to Haycock and the defense, what specifically about Haycock do you guys think allows the defense to make the adjustments that they do to be as successful as they are?
To be honest with you, I have no clue. That man is a lot smarter at the game of football than I am. I don't know. I think he sees the game differently, man. Like, and I think it's just, I don't know. He can just put you in a position to be successful no matter who you are. You know, when you go through as many linebackers, like think about the linebacker position, the captain on the defense. We have lost, 6 of them? We're down. Like, when you can continue to have success against teams that try and run the ball still when you're down all the linebackers that you are, when you can still have success, and then when you get to those later parts in the game when you're up and then you're forcing the team to throw, and the coverage that Coach Haycock puts you in is just allowing you to get tipped interceptions. Like, you're going to win a lot of games that way. And, Coach Haycock has been doing this for a lot longer than just this year, as we all know. And the whole nation knows, because everybody knows who Haycock is. And that's a guy that we're lucky to still have at Iowa State for sure. Because he's putting on a master class, and you got to give credit to the players, because they've obviously, gone out there and played tremendously, and only getting better every week.
I think what's cool about Haycock is people just listen to him. Like, when you're in a team meeting, you're in all these things, you listen to everyone. But when Coach Haycock is up there, it's like listening to your grandpa, or listening to someone that's a little bit older than you that has that experience. I'm not saying he's a grandpa or anything like that, but like he just commands your attention, because like he's so thoughtful about everything that he does. And I think that comes out in his whole life. But when you watch him go out and coach football, he is so thought through. He makes sure that everybody knows the assignment, what they're doing, and making sure that you can go out there and succeed at what they're doing. So I think what he does, I mean, you don't want to get down against Iowa State. So that's why I think a lot of these teams come out and throw these heavy hits early, because he wants to see what they're doing, and he has his like 1 or 2 things that he already knows, like what they're going to go to when they come out and try to do what they do. So I think it's a masterclass. I think, like Jirehl said, we're so fortunate to have Coach Haycock, just for his coaching ability, but for who he is to the team, and a leader to those guys.
So last year, Campbell tasked Coach Haycock with leading our senior leadership studies groups, whatever, like kind of senior group. And I learned so much from those couple meetings that we had. He's very knowledgeable about sports, and not only sports, life. And I still take a lot of those things we learned in those meetings with me every day. So he's just a great guy. Loves football, but more importantly, he loves his players more than he loves the game. And that's why people buy into it. People buy into his system because he has so much love and passion for his team, his players. And every time I think about Coach Haycock, I always just think about that, the pregame. How do you win? Defense. It's the coolest thing in the world.
I was on offense, and I still said it.
Yeah, we're sitting over on the offensive side, and then we're all like, we're done. At that point,
we're waiting.
Offense, we're waiting, and the defense always goes like second for the little defensive pregame meeting, and you're all sitting over there, and all you hear is "How do you win?" And we're all, defense.
We know on the offensive side, like, that's how you win. Like, that's how we're gonna win this game for real. Is
right.
How they play over there.
Right. I'll never forget it. Before every game, like defense, which is fun. But I think I want to also mention his supporting staff he puts around him. I know Coach Rashid's been there forever with him. Coach Cratch is back this year. The secondary coaches, Coach Petit, Coach Broom. I mean, and then the support staff to those guys. Coach Mason, Tomlin. And you have a bunch of other guys along the defense, and they all buy into the system. And when you get a group of people that all buy into one system, and you trust, your leaders, the players trust the coaches trust the players, it makes for a good system, and that's it's always been at Iowa State. He's able to lead that defensive side of the room really well, and that's what you kind of see. So aside from all the adjustments, the plays, the different blitzes, we could go down those for the rest of the evening tonight. I mean, I'm sure we could try to draw up every blitz we saw at Iowa State. We still wouldn't find every single one. And,
Nope.
I mean, they always have something up their sleeves, and it's fun to watch. It's really tough to play against, though. I will say that. So
that was my next question to ask about what it was like for you guys to be in practice and play against the defense. But I wanted to ask you, Jake, in those meetings, what would you say was like the biggest takeaway you had from him? Like you said, you learned a lot. You still carry it with you.
Yeah, I know one meeting we had, we just talked about kind of like some hard moments in life. And he kind of always said, I think there's a viral video of the Duke coach, a Duke women's basketball coach, saying this as well. It's never going to get easier.
This was 2 years ago.
You just get better. You just get better at doing harder things. You get better at doing hard things. And that's something I carry with me daily. And he was the one that kind of introduced that concept to me. I mean, we could go on and on. I have a whole notes thing on my phone with just like random quotes and inspirational things that I learned being an Iowa State football player.
Yeah, right. That one was this what you do never gets easier. You just do harder, better.
Right.
Yeah.
Let's get one.
I like that one.
But yeah, to go to your point, playing against the defense it's not fun. The offense may, you never kind of know during fall camp how good the offense is because the defense is always just so. I mean, they're always good. Like, I mean, we might get a couple of days from them here and there, but majority of the time that defense is winning the day for the most part. Would you guys agree or?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they definitely got
us more than we got them.
Got us more than we got them for sure. But we definitely had our day. When we had our days, we had our days for sure.
I think that it just the competitive, the iron sharpens iron mentality is so true when you go up against something that's like that, where those guys are, they're coached really well, their scheme is really good, and it forces that offense to be explosive because you got to hit some of those big plays against our defense to really have a shot. You can dink dunk all you want and say, hey, Iowa State's giving you 5 yards here, 3 yards here, 2 yards here, 7 yards here. But you have to be able to hit a big play against our defense for, to get under Coach Haycock a little bit. So that's forced, obviously, we've been able to do that this year and they've gone against that safety group we've had in those corners all off season. So I think that's only made them better.
So when looking at the defense and some of the great things they did in the game. You guys mentioned the 2 key interceptions. I wanted to give a little love to Jontez Williams because there was a stat that said he has picked off a pass for the 3rd straight game, which makes him the first Cyclone to do so since Braxton Lewis in 2018.
Juarez.
Wow.
Juarez.
And he missed the first one too. The first
right?
one.
No, he almost had it was almost 3 in the end zone, to be a touchback because 2 weeks in a row he had one in the end zone to stop a scoring drive, and this week he dropped that one in the end zone, but made up for it with the other one. It's just a guy being around the ball. He's continued to get better. I saw last year there was definitely times where it just wasn't his best, and this year he's came back. You could tell he had a great off season. He's been putting in the work, and we have another lockdown corner after Tampa left. So a guy that's just put in the work, and he's Johnny on the spot all the time, strapping these wide receivers up.
That first holding call on him too was not a holding.
Oh no.
I I think a shout out goes to Joey Peterson. I thought he played a really good game.
Yeah.
Yesterday.
for sure.
Obviously, filled up stat sheet, made a couple plays too. Like what that defensive line does in Iowa State's defense is so critical. That's why we always have these linebackers that are making big plays and filling stat sheets, is because those dudes are eating people up. So when they're not only able to do that and eat people up on the offensive line, eating double teams up, but go out there and have some tackles for loss, make some big plays, and just go out there and, I mean, the Peterson brothers, between the two of them, they just they go at you. And you just they wear you down, because they are just going to keep on running into you until you quit. So I think huge shout out to him, because I thought he played a great game along with the rest of the D-line too.
No, he was talking with their quarterback too. They were chirping back and forth.
Yeah.
I knew he was getting in his head. He had Zach would have been quiet the whole time. He just
Yeah, those Joey plays so hard, man, and he does not stop, and that's a good point, Newell. He really had a good day yesterday. The whole D line, they really play really hard. And that's what you want from that D line, especially in our defensive scheme. So, yeah, that's a good shout out right there.
Was there anyone else that you guys felt stood out, did anything important that we hadn't really touched on? There's a lot, we've seen a lot of different names coming through.
Yeah, Jamison Patton had the other pick. That was big time too. Obviously, any turnover that you can get that stops the other team from scoring points, especially when you get it back to an explosive offense like ours, your name's gonna get brought up, and obviously we looked at the turnover margin earlier. We are at 9. +9 in the turnover margin, so that's it's hard to lose, especially when you've only played six games and you're at +9. So
this season feels so long, 6 games. That's it. It feels like we should be close to the end, but I don't know.
We're gonna
halfway
watch
there.
Longer.
I feel like it's flying.
Really?
Halfway there. You only get 12. Well, I guess now we have 13 because we're bowl eligible now, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. We hadn't brought that up.
Yeah, we're bowl
Let's go.
That's crazy. Iowa State 6-0, and we don't even think about bowl eligibility. We think about
I know, right? Since when?
How's it feel, guys?
I haven't seen that on Twitter once. Bowl eligibility.
Everyone book your hotel rooms for Memphis. We're going back.
No,
he didn't quit.
I don't know about you,
for
but
that.
I'm booking hotel rooms for Dallas.
Right.
Listen, I definitely texted Chris last night and said, book the trip. The trip, because we're going.
I saw somebody put on Twitter, it was like the rest of the games that we have are basically all home games except the one at Utah, because Kansas, you go to Arrowhead, and that's going to be half Iowa State, half Kansas fans. It's going to be
especially with the Kansas
rivalry game there.
Yeah, Kansas fans are probably not showing up at this point.
Yeah, it's probably going to be like old Kansas games, before they got good 2 years ago.
I don't know, man. It's Iowa State at the end of the day. So, those KU fans also don't like us. So, they'd probably rather show up against Iowa State than, I don't know, Houston at Arrowhead.
And it's at Arrowhead. Yeah, I feel like people would go anyways just for the atmosphere.
No, I tell you what, Utah Friday night they lost, and I was sitting there, I was like, oh my gosh, we look pretty good. Don't get me wrong, that game in Salt Lake City is still going to be a tough one, but it's not going to be out of reach by any means to go in there on the road and get a win.
Yeah, they didn't look that good yesterday either.
Big 12 is just, we say it every week. Some game shocks us every single week. Every single week. I stayed up late last night too, watching that Colorado K-State game. That game was crazy too.
Crazy,
man. It's wide open. It's fun to chat about, and
hopefully we can get some snow that game. Abu's breakout game again.
Right. We need more snow. Well, hey, speaking of that, how about the weather today? Right?
Oh,
incredible.
Yeah,
I'm in a sweatshirt, sweatpants. This is fall now. We've made it.
Yeah,
And
it
it was
officially
so windy.
feels like it.
I think I'm gonna have to go get a pumpkin spice latte tomorrow morning.
Oh Lord. I love those.
support
I
you.
can't even get mad at you. Yeah, I can't even get mad at that.
Yeah. That sounds
Colin,
good.
do you like pumpkin spice lattes?
I don't know if I've ever had one.
Oh,
What?
You're lame.
Do you
You're
like
lame.
anything pumpkin based?
I love pumpkin. Yeah, I do love pumpkin. I
Like
don't think I've
pumpkin
ever.
what?
Paul,
Don't tell
pumpkin
me you're just
bars,
out
dude.
here eating. Okay, I was gonna say, don't tell me you're just out here eating pumpkins.
Yeah, I'm like eating that little baby pumpkin food. No,
You better
I'm a
smoke up
big
with those,
pumpkin
Jirehl.
guy.
Oh yeah.
No, let's go get a pumpkin spice latte this week. What do you say?
yeah. Okay.
Count me in. Let's do it.
All right, sounds good.
Jake,
Well-
when we going to dinner, bro?
All right. Yeah, anytime.
Well, sounds like you guys have plans to make before next game day, which is against UCF at home. Iowa State's a 10.5-point favorite. As of now, BYU, Iowa State, and Texas Tech are the last unbeaten teams in the Big 12. In Big 12 play,
Wow.
I should say.
You,
What's that
UCF
Texas
is-
Tech team like?
Yeah,
Who
no,
are
I
they-
haven't seen anything to be 100%
I
honest.
think they're a
with you.
gritty team. I think
Gritty?
they've come on hot. Yeah.
They still have McGuire as their coach, right? I think so.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, next week's gonna be one of those games where we're gonna have to hunker down and stop the run. It's kind of gonna be like this week where you're gonna want to make the quarterback beat you with his arm, not his legs. He's a big boy. Gonna have to
Yeah.
tackle. If you can't tackle, it's gonna be a long day. But
Yeah.
I think we can get it done for sure.
They've lost 3
Defensively,
straight, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, this could be one of those games where it's like, but
Well,
I think we'll get
But
it done
I mean,
for sure.
yeah, at the end of the day, like we're saying, Big 12, it doesn't matter. I mean,
Any given day, somebody can
any
beat
given
somebody.
day, any given day, any given team. So it's gonna be a big week. Hopefully we can get some guys healthy back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know maybe, but I always think speaking of that, I think it's funny how whenever college game day, like we were talking about earlier, Nick Saban talks about us, and he's always like, they returned 19 starters. We no longer have 19 returning starters. I can guarantee you that.
We have probably
Right. Yeah. I was like, okay, you give us some more credit. Like, don't these young guys are still stepping up and playing. So,
Yeah.
but no, it's gonna be a fun week. We get to get the fans back in the Jack.
yeah.
Can't wait for it. So,
Sell it out. It's a fun chance to just be back
Sell it
in
out.
games. I feel like they shouldn't be too far. I mean, they've already sold out parking.
oh wow,
They're redoing the drone show too, right?
Yeah, it's during this game.
bring it on.
So get your tickets. I think they're having a special deal, like buy 3, get a 4th one, or buy 3, get a 4th one free, maybe.
Do
Something.
Just
So-
another team we haven't played yet in the new Big 12, which is also
Yeah.
really exciting. So, get the Central Florida boys up here. Let's get that temperature down to like mid 50s. We'll see how they like Jack Trice Stadium.
Kick off even colder.
Oh, I hope so. I hope I'm
Yeah.
up there. I still have no luck with this sweatshirt game. I'm really hoping that kickoff this week I'll have a sweatshirt on. So
I bet you will.
I hope so.
Well,
I'm tired of the heat.
same. I am with you on that. Last thing I'll say, when it comes to, like Nick Saban's talking about Iowa State, and, a lot of people are now looking at Iowa State in the AP voting. There was one person who put Iowa State in the top 5.
Wow. Speaking of that, if you look at those logos in the AP top 10 right now, I mean, Iowa State in that mix is so cool. It's like Alabama, you are Penn State, Oregon, Ohio State, Georgia, like all these blue chip programs. And then good old Iowa State sitting right there.
ISU.
That's just all the blue blood, Tremmy.
Come on.
The latest blue blood.
I know. Absolutely. It's that we will, man. We're right there. That we will collective is killing it. So make sure you Venmo them. Hit the Venmo with the we will.
All right.
Or
Well,
buy some Ames Longers.
yeah, get your beers.
Beers and pizza.
Well-
Good week for pizza.
Oh, whoa. I might have to go make a little we will pizza. Sunday night football.
There you
That
go.
sounds good.
You guys are going to get Brent Bloom going talking about we will like this at the end.
I know. We got to. And there's new that new. I really want to try that new wrestling beer too.
You should. Blood Round.
Yeah, I want to try that one too.
Okay.
Excited for that one.
Well, we've gone over an hour, guys.
I knew this would be a good one.
I know. As always, thank you guys for listening. Shout out to our presenting sponsor, Wyffels Hybrids. It's going to be a fun week, and we'll be back next weekend to talk about all things Iowa State.
Go State.
Go State, baby.